Welcome to another edition of Strength Coach Tutorials. This is episode number 28. Today I have a neat trick for you where we're going to be able to pull in an athlete's headshot based on a drop-down selection where we can select their name. So if you can see as I'm selecting here, the athlete's headshot is changing. This is a neat trick to pull in for monitoring dashboards, for fitness testing results, or even if you just want to put the athlete's headshot on their program. So let's get after it. Okay. The effect that we're looking for here is that we want to be able to select an athlete's name from a drop-down box up here on the left and then have their headshot be displayed in the box here on the right. Now this is a good trick if you want to put your athlete's headshots on, say, a monitoring dashboard, or perhaps we want to have it on their workout cards or even their fitness testing results. So the first thing we have to do is set up our sheet so that it has all the necessary information on it. I'm going to create a separate tab that has all of the headshots actually on them. So if I just come down here and click the plus icon, I can create another sheet. I'm just going to name this headshots. So from there, I need to create a table that has the athlete name and the headshot stored in it. So I'm going to type athlete name, headshot, and then I'm going to format this as a table. So if I go to the home, format as table, and we've done this lots of times. My table has headers, okay. And I'm going to type athlete 1, athlete 2, and I'll just drag these down and it'll automatically populate up to athlete 5. I'm going to need to make these cells a little bit bigger so that I can actually store headshots in them. So if I just select all the rows, I'm going to make these about 100 pixels big, just by dragging them, and then I'm going to make them both about 100 pixels wide. And this just creates a nice square cell where I can store all of my pictures. Now, rather than using actual athlete headshots for this video, I'm going to use icons. So if I select the box where I want to put it, then go to the Insert tab, I can select the icons, and I'm going to find a person icon. So I'll search person, and there's a little stick figure here that I'll use. So if I hit Insert, it should stick him right inside the box there. If I go to try to select the actual cell where the picture is, I'm always going to select the picture. So an easy way to actually select that cell is just click to the right of it and then use the arrow to kind of come on over. I'm going to copy the cell and then select all the cells down below and paste. And I'm going to paste one of the icons in each cell. Then I need to color these different so that they represent the different athletes. So if I just select the icon, I'm going to make one red, I'm going to make one blue, we'll make one kind of an orange, and then one yellow. And then one other thing that I want to do is I'm actually going to select all of the pictures or the icons, and then if I right click and I can hit size and properties, there's actually an option that I want to have them move but don't size with the cells. And that's just going to allow me, if I add other cells later on, it's going to make sure that those stay in the middle of the cells. So Excel is kind of neat in that it allows you to actually create a picture with a cell reference. So what this means is if I actually take this copied icon here and I go up into the formula bar and I type in a cell, let's say B3, where we have stored athlete 1, it actually takes a snapshot of that cell and now uses it as a picture. So we're going to use this trick to our advantage to actually pull out the picture that we're looking for. So if I take C3, you're going to notice that it's going to pull out the headshot that we're looking for. So what we need to do is we need to actually create a name for each one of these cells so that we can reference them. And an easy way to do that is if I select all of the cells here and I go to formulas, there is an option called create from selection to create names. So if I click that there, Excel's pretty smart and it can tell that I want to take the values in the right column and I want to create names based on the left column. So if I hit OK, that's going to name this cell here. It's going to name it athlete 1 and then athlete 2, athlete 3, athlete 4, and athlete 5. But what we'll notice here is if we go to our name manager, whenever we're creating a name and there is a space, Excel will automatically add an underscore it doesn't deal with spaces if we're using a name manager. We can use this name when we're referencing our cell. So if I were to type in athlete_1, it's going to show me that picture. If I go to 2 or 3 or 4, it's going to show me the picture that I'm looking for. So this is the first step in us actually being able to create a drop-down box that's going to allow us to pull the names in. So the first thing we'll do to kind of create the effect now is I'm going to create a drop-down box from the actual athlete names here. So if I go back to the original sheet that I'm on and select the cell where I want to create it, we've done this before with other projects. So I'll go to data validation, and I'm going to use a list, and the source for that is going to be the athlete name column. So I can select at the top here and it will select the whole column, and I'll hit the arrow and then OK, and it's going to give me an athlete or a drop down box that has all my athlete names in it. Now I'm going to take this copied picture here that we have the formula in. I'm going to control copy that, or control C, and I'm going to paste that onto this page here and stick that in the middle of our headshot box here, which I just typed headshot in, so I'm going to delete that, and I'll make it bigger, and it's going to sit right in the middle of our headshot box. So what we need to do is we need to create a reference where when we select an athlete name here, it's going to pull in the appropriate name for the actual headshot. And what we'll have to do in order to do this is I'm going to need to create another column in our chart or in our table. So if I go right click and then hit insert and then table columns to the left, I'm going to call this reference. And you'll need to do this if you are going to use first and last names for your athletes and they have spaces in them. So I'm going to have to create athlete_1, athlete_2, etc. athlete_1, athlete_2, and I should be able to drag these down like I did before. And then I need to make this box 100 pixels wide again. So then all of our athlete headshots are in the right box again. So if I reference the selected name, I want to be able to pull out the reference cell associated to that. So I'm going to use a formula, and to do that we'll name this table, we'll call it table headshot. And to do that, we'll use this formula. It's going to be an index formula with a match so that we can find the appropriate row. So we're going to type equals index, and it's going to ask us where we want to look, and we're going to say table, and table headshot is already there. And then it's going to ask us what row we want, and to find the appropriate row, we're going to need to match to the actual athlete name that we select. So we're going to use the function match, M-A-T-C-H, and then it's going to ask us what the lookup value is, and it's going to be the name that we select. So we'll select B4, and then we'll hit comma, and it's going to ask us the array that we want to look it up in, and that's in the table. So table headshot, and we're going to want to look that up in the athlete name column. So I'm going to hit a square bracket, and then I can select athlete name, close the square bracket, and then if I hit another comma, it's going to ask me what kind of a match that I want. And I want an exact match, so I'm going to double click there, close off those brackets, and that should do it for the row number. And then I'll hit another comma, and it's going to ask me what column number I want. And we know that our reference cells are stored in the first column, so I'll just put a 1, close that off, and now I should get the corresponding reference value whenever I select an athlete name. So we're well on our way now to creating a reference cell here. So I need to create now a name that has this associated with it. So an easy way to do that is if I go to my formulas, I'm going to hit define name, and I'm going to call this name headshot. And I want it to reference, in this case, B5, but I want to reference the address, or sorry, I want it to reference the value associated with B5 and not the address. So I'm going to use the indirect function. So I'm going to turn athlete_1 into an actual name with the indirect function. So I'll type in indirect and then bracket, and then I will use the arrow to select the cell that I want, and then I will close that bracket and hit enter and hit OK. And so now the name headshot refers to this cell here, and if I give this the name of headshot, and hit enter, it will now select the headshot associated with the value that I select. So if I select athlete 2 or athlete 3, athlete 4, or athlete 5. So you can see that the headshot is now changing accordingly. And then the only last thing that we have to do here to make this look a little cleaner is because this actually takes a snapshot of the cell. If we go back to our cells and we have the black box and the grid lines around, it will take a snapshot of whatever this looks like. So for example, if I take the background of this cell and make it yellow, when I select athlete 1, the background is yellow. So I'm going to take that back off. So what I need to do is I'm actually going to crop this image just a little bit in so that we don't see the cells, or sorry, don't see the cell outline on the outside. So if I use the crop function, I go to picture format and I can hit crop, and it's going to give me these black lines on the side. If I just drag those a little bit in on all four sides, and then crop, and I'll just double click out of that. Now you can see we've actually cropped the image, so we've removed the outside, and it'll work for all of the headshots that we pick. And then just to make this look a little cleaner, if I was putting this on a dashboard or something, I would hide this value here just by making the text white so that we can't actually see that there's anything in that cell. And then if we went to print it, we wouldn't see where the actual cell reference is. So this is a little trick that you can use to add some headshots or other photos or pictures to your templates. And the possibilities are endless here. This could be something where you pull in the headshots for any of your monitoring data and then you print off reports for your coaches, or print off fitness results and you have their headshot in the corner of the template so that you can make the reports a little bit more customizable. If this video helped you out, feel free to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at DSMStrength. And feel free to share this video with anybody that you think might find some value of it. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because that really helps me out a lot. I'm also looking for ideas for new videos, so feel free to post in the comments below any ideas that you have for new videos so that I can create solutions from your strength and conditioning templates. Thanks for watching.